So from here, I will get into my message. So let's say you go to the religion store, right? And you ask, oh, what kind of specials you got today? I'm looking for a religion. And the salesman's there, very, very helpful, very friendly. He says, I got a couple of options for you today you might want to consider. Have you ever considered being an ultra-Orthodox Jew? You say, well, no, not really. Tell me a little bit about it. Well, if you decide to become an ultra-Orthodox Jew, there are 613 commandments in the Bible, not just the 10 that everybody knows, but there's 613 in the Bible that you would be required to fulfill. This includes, again, not only the 10 that you probably know, but also significantly rearranging your diet. No more cheeseburger, no more Baconators, nothing like that. No shrimp and lobster. On the Sabbath, you can't even turn on a light switch. You can't drive on the Sabbath. Your clothes have to be made all from you can't have any, polyester cotton blends. It has to be all cotton or all polyester, something like that. And you have to pray before virtually everything you do on a daily basis. And you go, wow, no kidding. That's okay. Well, what else do you have? Well, the other possibility is I've got this. You could be a member of this spiritual movement where you have to be joyful. Really? Yes. You cultivate and you are joyful. And, well, geez, I am kind of looking for something that's low maintenance, not labor intensive. And the salesman would say, so you want to be a Jew? Well, no. I mean, you said 613 commandments? Yeah. And you got to do this? Yeah. And you're telling me that's the easy one? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Do you know what it takes to be joyful? Well, I really don't know if I've ever thought about that. It is really labor intensive. So you walk out of the store, you have a decision to make. Do I go this route or the other route? So if that was to ever happen to you, let me give you some advice on being joyful. As you know, I come from the Hindu tradition, and joy is actually a mandate in the Hindu tradition. But we look at it as aspirational because we realize that very few people get to that stage where you are in complete joy. And the word in today's sermon, Ananda, that is joy, but it's different than the joy when we talk about being joyful. Normally, we talk about it in a rather temporary context, because in normal life, in day-to-day living, joy is temporary. And we have an antonym for joy. We have multiple antonyms. The one that people tend to think of right away is sorrow. This is a world of relativity. You can't really have joy without sorrow. In the same way, you can't have light without darkness. You can't have health without sickness. That is how the world was made. However, one can cultivate and experience Ananda, the joy from which there is no opposite. But boy, is that hard. It is not easy. It is not, I see from time to time this encouragement, particularly in New Thought churches, where you're exhorted to be joyful. And that's certainly not a bad thing. But usually we walk out of here or wherever here is. We walk out of whatever situation we're in when we're told, when we're exhorted, we're encouraged to be joyful. We walk out of there and we go right into the same workaday world where, you decide to go out to lunch after service and, whatever you order is not cooked right. Are you joyful? All of a sudden a family member starts to irritate you a little bit. Are you joyful? That's the challenge. So what I'm talking to you about today is a little different from what we normally consider to be joy. So Ananda, that kind of joy, is something that takes literally lifetimes to cultivate. We live in this world of relativity, as I said. We live in a world where there is sadness, where there is frustration, where there is pain. And we can't deny that. And unfortunately, sometimes in the spiritual life, we hear messages that seem to ignore all that other stuff. In the Hindu Dharma, we don't ignore that. We know that sickness and illness and all of these other challenges are going to be a part of our lives. We have to deal with them. The key is to express the joy that is appropriate for the moment. So this joy, this Ananda, to somebody who has actually achieved it, this person is going to react differently when he or she might be, say, getting a massage or having a wonderful encounter with a friend or family, versus hearing about the death of someone, particularly if this is someone who, say, died early or tragically. We don't just, still joy. Tell me anything, still joy. We don't do that because we still are human. We still have to live in society. And even if we are able to see beyond the relativity to the absolute unity of our universe, the absolute unity of the divine, we still need to react as humans. It is okay to express frustration. It is okay to express anger when the anger is righteous, when the anger is needed. But to those great ones who actually have transcended much of our earthly relativities, who have transcended the pair of opposites, as it is referred to in the Bhagavad Gita, what they're able to do is have an undercurrent of joy. It's not a joy that you always see, right? It's deep within. So on the outer, the outer expression of life, there can still be the frustrations. There can still be the issues that we have, but always an undercurrent of joy. And when that great one, that very evolved one, then retires into the silence, then that joy can manifest more fully, despite all of the issues, despite all of the challenges, despite illness, despite the news of death, despite perhaps one's impending death if one has been told that one has a serious disease or something like that. But it's really, really difficult. And it's so much easier to follow man-made rules for this thing and that thing. It's so much easier to just involve oneself in ritual, to study, to learn the scriptures. All of that is again, comparatively speaking, so much easier than cultivating joy. But if our mandate is to be joyful, and I really believe that if you look at the most important points of unity, I believe that one thing that we do share is this underlying aspiration to be joyful, to immerse ourselves in Ananda. But how do we do it? Well, first of all, there is the cultivation. There is the affirmation that we can do it. And it is something that needs to happen on a very regular basis, not just once a day for a couple of minutes, but it needs to be something that works in the background of our mind. And at the same time, while we might aspire to this joy beyond all joys, it's so important that we don't fool ourselves. A lot of people do that with affirmations. They just start with an affirmation. They practice it for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and all of that. And they try to fool themselves into thinking that, I am at this state. So they might be affirming something like, I have perfect patience. I have perfect patience. I have perfect patience. And then that patience is tested. I have perfect patience. I have perfect patience. Excusez-moi mon français. What the hell you do? And what's wonderful is when one can actually admit, no, I'm not there yet. No, I'm not there yet. No, I don't have this Ananda. I haven't accomplished that. But if one continues practicing, continues cultivating, what one will see, and I pretty much guarantee this if great effort is paid, that our ability to recover becomes faster and faster, quicker and quicker. This I can tell you from my own experience. I have not reached the level of pure, absolute Ananda. Spoiler alert, okay? But I can say that by following the prescriptions that I have learned over the years, that even though I may, lose my center, I come back to the center much more quickly than I did years ago. Sometimes it takes people so long to get back to the center. Some people never get back to it. Some people have never even been in the center. But I think all of you have. You've all been in the center. Now, the key is, of course, the ultimate goal is to not be able to lose the center. Even while you're dealing with the frustrations and the complexities of the world, you're still in the center. That's the highest goal. But the goal for us, mere mortals who are still trudging along in this, is to be able to, yes, lose it, be sad, be cranky if you have to be, whatever it is you are, and then be able to come back and realize the fleetingness of it all, realize the temporary nature of all of our frustrations. Because this is one of the keys. In the Hindu Dharma, we acknowledge that everything is temporary. Everything. Everything is going to pass. There's a story that a king was saying that he knew all of these great sages. They all come to him with advice, and he says, "I will. You guys are, you're fine, but I need somebody better than you. I want somebody who can make me laugh, make me smile when I'm sad, and make me sad when I'm happy." So this one person comes up to him and says, I can do that for you. Really? And he gives him a ring. The king puts the ring. Really? This ring is going to make me happy when I'm sad and sad when I'm happy? He says, yes. Yep. All you have to do is wear that ring. And then the sage left. He says, this is odd. I don't. Wait a minute, there's something written on this ring. This too shall pass. Right? Once we really have the conviction that that whatever it is we're undergoing, this life is temporary, it will pass, and that what will survive is the true us, the essence, the soul. In Sanskrit we call it the Atman. That survives. That is the only thing not temporary. And to develop this as knowledge, not a belief. Remember, beliefs are fine to start with, but then you want knowledge, and knowledge comes with experience. Once you have the experience of truly understanding that the nature of the soul is joy itself, Ananda, once that becomes a realization, you know that that's all you have to look forward to is joy. And the ultimate destination of the soul is what we call Sat Chit Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda. Ever existing, ever conscious, ever new bliss. That's what Sat Chit Ananda means. Ever existing, ever conscious, ever new bliss. So when we think of, if I said, I can give you bliss, well, you'd be, wow, that's great. Yeah, but you're not going to be aware of it. Well, what good is that? I know, but you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want to be blissful without knowing you're blissful. And if I say, I'm going to give you bliss, but it's only going to be for 10 minutes. Or if it's only going to be for 5 years. Well, yeah, but then what's on the other end of that 5 years? Oh, you don't even want to know. You would want ever-existing bliss, right? Ever-existing, ever-conscious, and then ever-new. Think about how we experience mortal joy, right? So often there's perhaps some anticipation, realization, and then after realization, the thermometer drops a little bit. So for instance, think about getting a birthday present. First of all, you see the present, it's really wrapped nicely. And and this birthday present. Pour moi? Yes, indeed. Okay. So you're getting excited about it. Then you open the present, and then you see something that you have wanted for a really long time, and it's beautiful. So you're very, very excited. That's like peak joy. The thermometer through the roof. But as time goes on, you can be very happy that you have it, but you're not going to be experiencing that peak joy when you first saw it, right? And then you have it, and you use it, whatever, and then finally you're just thrilled because you're giving it to Goodwill. So, there are levels. This ever new joy, Sat Chit Ananda, it refers to imagine that peak experience, that the joy that doesn't get old. It's always new. Always new. That is the ultimate destination of every single soul that has ever been embodied in this physical universe. That's the good news. What we can attempt to do to the very best of our ability is to cultivate as best we can. Again, I'm not talking about something that we're all going to hit the mark on in this lifetime. But when we aspire to joy, we bring all these other people in with us. Right? This is not a solitary exercise. This is an exercise in community. And I know that the Daily Word today mentions service. Part of cultivating joy, this Ananda, is developing that consciousness of service. One of my affirmations, Lord, give me the heart of a servant. Give me the heart of a servant. That's a good recipe for joy. Along, of course, with daily spiritual practice of whatever moves you and brings you into the center. Namaste.